Although The Simpsons has a lot of episodes for viewers to choose from, some of the show's best outings are considered straight-up masterpieces by fans and critics alike. With more than 790 episodes and a theatrical movie spin-off to its name, The Simpsons is officially the longest-running scripted primetime American TV show in history. As such, it might be hard for new viewers to work out where to start with the series. Indeed, the critical reception of the series has been so long and varied that it has an entire separate Wikipedia page dedicated to it, and this page was created before The Simpsons Season 34's recent critical resurgence. Since around Season 33, The Simpsons has enjoyed a cultural renaissance, as both YouTube creators and cultural critics from Vulture agree the series has gotten good again. The show's history is hotly contested, but broadly speaking, Seasons 3 to 11 are viewed as the golden age of The Simpsons, when the show was firing on all cylinders in creative terms. However, there were great episodes before and after this somewhat arbitrary era, as proven by this list. While Homer might be the hero of The Simpsons, the show's true masterpieces have highlighted all the titular family members in adventures that were alternately hilarious, heartwarming, satirically sharp, life-affirming, and subversive. Calling any episode post-season 15 a classic is apt to raise some eyebrows among certain purists, but season 19, episode 9, Eternal Moonshine of the Simpson Mind, does boast a Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Animated Program to substantiate this claim. An atypically dark outing, this episode opens with Homer waking up from a blackout with his memory missing. Homer can't recall the preceding day and becomes increasingly unsettled by the realization that he may have done something terrible in an extended homage to the indie classic Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. It is an homage to, rather than a parody, since Eternal Moonshine of the Simpson Mind takes The Simpsons to some grim places before its sweet ending. While Eternal Moonshine of the Simpson Mind focuses on Homer, Season 6, Episode 8, Lisa on Ice is more concerned with Bart and Lisa's relationship. Bart and Lisa's ice hockey rivalry divides the siblings, and Homer's competitive streak leads him to unthinkingly pit his children against each other, as their playing grows steadily more impressive. While The Simpsons gained a reputation in the early 90s as a cynical alternative to saccharine family sitcoms like Full House and The Cosby Show, Lisa on Ice proves the show has plentiful heart under its irreverent exterior. Ending with one of the show's most heartwarming moments, this outing proves that laugh-out-loud comedy and poignancy aren't mutually exclusive. Written as a potential series finale, when the show's fate was up in the air in 2011, Season 23, Episode 9, Holidays of Future Past, introduces viewers to future versions of the Simpson family during a tumultuous Christmas break. While The Simpsons' real-life future predictions have been infamously apt, this episode is specifically concerned with the family's future. Seeing older versions of Bart and Lisa talking about the hardships of adulthood and parenting tugs on the heartstrings of longtime viewers, while the family's multi-generational story of struggle and eventual acceptance makes this a standout Yuletide offering from the series. Homer's phobia should not work. Season 8, Episode 15, sees Homer befriend a gay man, played by guest star John Waters, before becoming terrified that John's influence will make Bart gay. The very premise seems offensive, so the episode should, in theory, be a dark stain on the show's history. Instead, thanks in part to Waters' contributions, Homer's phobia is a landmark moment for gay representation in American mainstream media and a hilarious episode of The Simpsons to boot. A deserving recipient of a GLAAD Media Award in 1998, Homer's phobia proves that the show's deft, tactful writing could approach any story with verve, wit, charm, and heart at the height of the show's powers. While The Simpsons unsuccessfully revisited Homer's enemy in one of the show's weakest seasons, there is no denying the efficacy of the original episode. Season 8, Episode 23, has a disarmingly simple premise, as Homer's new co-worker, Frank Grimes, swiftly tires of his buffoonish antics and works tirelessly to point out Homer's shortcomings to everyone else. Grimes's fate is brutal, but it allows the John Swartzwelder-penned episode to flip the show's usual premise by exposing a seemingly normal person to Springfield's warped reality. What follows is something of a blackly comic existential nightmare, as Frank Grimes slowly realizes the world of The Simpsons revolves around Homer, eventually resulting in his death during one of the show's darkest gags ever. Grimes' fate is brutal, but it allows the John Swartzwelder-penned episode to flip the show's usual premise by exposing a seemingly normal person to Springfield's warped reality. While Marge's recent The Simpsons stories have been strong, the show has often excelled when exploring Homer's relationship with Bart. Homer's desire for his rebellious son to grow up as a good man, despite Homer's own obvious shortcomings, comes into sharp relief in outings like Season 5, Episode 8, Boy Scouts in the Hood. Following a disastrous Boy Scout rafting trip, Boy Scouts in the Hood is a charming misadventure filled with zany punchlines and hilarious character comedy from Bart, Milhouse, Ned Flanders, and Homer. Every fan of The Simpsons has a theory about when the Golden Age started and when it ended. For my money, Season 3, Episode 17, is the moment that The Simpsons realized its comedic potential for the first time. The plot starts out simple enough, as the nuclear power plant's softball team starts to excel unexpectedly. However, the absurdity ramps up with record speed as Mr. Burns begins drafting MLB superstars to replace his workers. Homer at the bat then splits off to follow no fewer than 9 storylines, all while hanging onto the episode's emotional core of Homer's rejection after he is cut from the team. A dizzying comedic achievement, the absurdly ambitious Homer at the Bat was an early warning of how surreal, strange, and unpredictable the once grounded show would soon become. Often listed as the show's best episode ever, Season 4, Episode 17, Last Exit to Springfield, is filled with the sort of razor-sharp writing that explains why Bob's Burgers still borrows from The Simpsons decades later. The plot follows Homer's rapid ascent to become head of the power plant's trade union after Mr. Burns threatens the dental plans of his employees. Last Exit to Springfield is Mr. Burns' best villainous story, but it is also one of the show's most quotable half-hours. From hired goons to now play classical gas, the episode has spawned numerous memes thanks to its rocket-fast plot and endless string of memorable gags. Season 8, Episode 2, You Only Move Twice, has a truly great premise. Homer gains a seemingly perfect new job and moves his family to an idyllic town, only to discover his new boss is a supervillain. It's the sort of story that a lot of animated sitcoms could turn into a perfectly fun James Bond spoof. Albert Brooks's disarmingly charming Hank Scorpio is the show's best one-off character ever. What elevates the episode into all-time great territory is the fact that Homer's new boss is a charismatic sweetheart, and Homer never realizes he's working for a supervillain in You Only Move Twice. Albert Brooks' disarmingly charming Hank Scorpio is the show's best one-off character ever, and even Brooks's villain from the Simpsons movie couldn't outdo the impact of this inspired role. It is always exciting to see what horror movies and shows The Simpsons will parody with each year's Treehouse of Horror Halloween special, but there is almost invariably a weak link in these anthology episodes. This is what makes Season 6, Episode 6, Treehouse of Horror 5, so special. The episode's opening parody of The Shining is so clever that it has been screened in university courses studying Kubrick's classic Stephen King adaptation. Time and Punishment distills the tropes of countless time travel stories into one relentlessly funny 7-minute segment, while Nightmare Cafeteria proves The Simpsons' Halloween horror specials can be genuinely creepy as well as side-splittingly funny. Simply listing the best gags in Season 5, Episode 2, Cape Fear, could justify its inclusion here. Sideshow Bob stepping on the rakes, Homer failing to remember his new fake name in the witness protection program, Bob's German tattoo, his performance of HMS Pinafore, Bake Him Away toys, the hysterically silly spoof of Cape Fear's chilling movie theater scene. However, it is the sheer accuracy of the episode's affectionate Martin Scorsese spoof that makes Cape Fear a masterpiece. It is impossible to take Cape Fear's 1990 remake seriously after seeing this episode.